FORA.tv, Idea Immersion. Visit us at www.FORA.tv.
What does Bush mean by freedom and that Iraq is already free? And he means that. You know, he says we have freed Iraq. It is done. Okay. Well, there's a neoconservative theory involved here, which is called which I call free market freedom. And in the book, I give an illustration. There's actually a wonderful speech by Colin Powell where he lays it out step by step. Here's how it goes. Given the notion of the right-wing free market, it says if we by force impose free markets on another country, by force we make them free, right? We impose free markets on that country, inevitably that country will become a democracy. Why? Here's why. Logic goes, you impose free markets, some people there are going to get very rich. Yeah, the people who are the most disciplined people will get rich. Those people will want to protect their property. Well, they will want to have relatively free elections. That is, they'll not want a dictator because a dictator could take their property away. So they'll want to have elections where they have some influence, right? Relatively free elections, where people can be elected who will not take their property away. But we don't want those people to be too powerful, or they could take the property away, so you want balance of powers. They want to have a legislature and a independent judiciary to balance what this president can do. You don't want any of them being too powerful, they could take your property away. Then you don't want to have military coups because the military could take your property away. So you will insist on civilian control of the military. And you don't want to be thrown in jail and have your property taken away for no good reason, so as they did in Russia recently. You know, with what's his name, the guy who owned the oil company? Gazprom, guy who owned Gazprom. You know, Putin just had him thrown in jail. So, well, they don't want that, so you're going to have civil liberties. You have to institute civil liberties to protect your property. And so the idea is that if you just impose free markets, inevitably these democratic institutions will follow. Yeah, that's the theory. Doesn't quite work. Hasn't worked there. It doesn't work. You know, I mean, Saudi Arabia has free markets, doesn't have freedom. Singapore doesn't, etc. But that's the theory. And the assumption is eventually China will develop democracy because it's getting more and more free markets. And Bush says this all the time. He talks about the evolution of democracy given free markets. You know, that's what he means by the evolution of democracy given free markets. So you have this very different understanding of what counts as freedom. And in these free markets, you might have lots of people who are not free from want, who are not free from fear, and that doesn't matter, because that's not part of the conservative notion of freedom. It's part of the progressive notion of freedom.